Nothing feels better than hearing that sound, especially when it's for birdie, saves par, or helps you shoot at personal best. But what if I told you that trying what some may call an abnormal method might help you hear that noise more often, just like it helped me? My name is Eric Black. I'm a 10 handicap documenting my journey to low single digits. If you want to watch a relatable golf journey, please like and subscribe. In theory, putting is easy. It's just a ball, a 4-inch hole, and the space between them. But as us golfers know, it's not that easy, right? There are so many opinions about putting, whether it be technique, technology, or even whether it's more of a science or an art. But maybe it's just golf. To add to the confusion, there are endless putters. Blades, mallets, zero torque, toe hang, broomsticks, and more. Plus a million and one ways to putt. So, a few months ago, I heard Sasho McKenzie from The Stack on the No Laying Up podcast in his argument for heads-up putting. He claimed from his research that speed was the most important factor of putting. And heads-up putting, from his research, was the number one way to have great speed. So what is heads-up putting, you ask? Instead of staring at the ball, you keep your eyes fixed on the hole or your target spot throughout the entire stroke. So if it's uphill and breaking 2 cups left to right, you may fixate 1 foot past the hole and 6 inches to the right. Liken it to shooting a free throw. It's more of a natural motion or thought process. When you shoot a basketball, you don't look at the basketball itself, you look where you're going to shoot it. Sasho's argument was that people obsess over their line, their technique, their stroke, and they try to micromanage every single part of their putting. Heads-up putting improved all of these things in his research. For example, distance control was better, and there was no meaningful difference in impact or stroke quality. Immediately, I wrote him off, just like I do so many people who are quote-unquote selling a product. Granted, I love the Stack. I love the Stack wedges, and I love Stack putting. And he's one of the best golf researchers on the planet. Therefore, after trying out my local practice green, I gave it a run on the course for the last 3 months. But when I started posting videos, many of you asked me in the comments, dude, what is up with your putting? Let me show you the results of my 3-month experiment and break down if heads-up putting made me a better putter. First things first, how did it feel? It feels so athletic. Not something that I always thought about myself growing up. Heads-up putting took away this friction that I so often felt, especially with shorter putts, in guiding the ball in the hole. That athleticism translated to confidence and just more fun for me on the greens. For this, I give it a 2 thumbs up. There's one exception though. Really long putts, like ones you could draw a trace on, or 50-foot plus putts.
Oh my God.
Somewhat awkward to look away.
Oh my God.
I found that looking at the ball from a distance felt more natural when I switched back.
Let's go, baby.
That's a crazy birdie.
Now, what about the data? You've got those little green things on the top of your club. Aren't those Arccos? Don't they track, your success, strokes gained? I have data for all of my putting and my strokes gained relative to before and after this experiment. I didn't exactly excel in statistics in high school or college, so take this with a grain of salt. Even the chat overlords didn't find much of a difference when I asked them. My putting remained the strongest part of my game through the last 3 months, exactly like the last year. The data shows it's actually relatively inconclusive. It appears slightly more consistent with less outliers from the remainder of the year.
Thank you.
But there were no statistically significant differences in my performance during this experiment outside of 2 small variations. My 3 putts per year dropped from a yearly average from 1.8 to 1.1, while I lost a small amount of ground in 1 putts per round. Overall, nothing too incredibly different. Anecdotally, things felt better, but at this point, without pulling out the scientific method or y equals mx plus b, that's a joke, in other test subjects, I can't say it made me much better or worse statistically. Finally, what's my decision? Am I going to continue putting heads up or heads down? What does the future of my putting stroke look like? if you care. And I have to say, I think it's here to stay. Admittedly, I didn't practice much putting during this period of time, and I felt like I still putted great. Most of all, I enjoyed my time and game on the greens. The two areas that I think I struggled the most were, I tend to putt on the more aggressive side with speed, so when my stroke felt freer, I sometimes underestimated my pace, especially with downhillers. I felt like I was able to make adjustments during round, but regardless, something to note, for me, I felt like I had to be slightly more cautious with my reads on downhill putts. As well, the 50 footers, which I've already mentioned, I've switched to heads down, and that's kind of where I'm staying. Overall, it's really been a blast for my game, and I don't see myself switching, besides the long putts, unless my putting starts to really suffer. So here's to the journey that is putting. And I hope you stay tuned in as I try to pursue low single digits and share my stories, my lessons, and learnings along the way. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.